Of course, that big story we told you about at the top of the hour, Big Ten football is coming back, and the announcement made official just this morning.
Games are scheduled to start in just over 5 weeks, and the question on a lot of people's minds is why now? Derek Francis joins us live with more on that today. Derek?
Yeah, guys, of course, it was just 2 weeks ago that Michigan gave the green light to high school football, and now more good news today. And as we learned today, for the conference known well for its medical expertise, the decision to start came down to exactly that.
A 6-member press conference of leaders from across the Big Ten explaining what's changed since pulling the plug on football in early August.
For me, it wasn't about political pressure, it wasn't about money, it wasn't about lawsuits, and it wasn't about what everybody else is doing. It was the unanimous opinion of our medical experts. And Pete, that sort of evolved over the course of weeks.
And that starts with daily rapid response antigen testing, with all positives confirmed through a slower PCR test.
We investigated it and feel very comfortable with that approach moving forward. And we know that if we can test daily with rapid testing in these small populations of teams, we're very likely to reduce infectiousness inside practice and game competitions to near 100%.
Taking a green, yellow, or red light approach, all 14 schools agreeing that the percentages of positives determines if a program can continue each week.
When we reach those red rates, teams would be stopping their activities, practice and game activities for at least 7 days until we can reevaluate where they're at.
And perhaps the biggest piece of evidence that the conference is putting health above all else, a mandatory 21-day timeout for any player that tests positive, due in part to the cardiac concerns that may be associated with COVID.
Our experts agreed that it needed to be at least 14 days from that positive test at a minimum before that cardiac testing was completed and evaluated by cardiology experts, and that athlete cleared.
Trying to squeeze 9 games in 9 weeks, there's essentially no margin for error or delay. Wisconsin AD Barry Alvarez explaining the season had to be worth the time of the players currently on the fence.
We wanted to make the season meaningful. You have a number of players that are trying to make a decision whether they're in or they're opting in or opting out.
The conference voting unanimously that with the extra information they've since gathered, the time is right to move forward.
We'll take a leadership role. We'll put the health and safety of our student athletes first and foremost. And I'm proud to sit here today to say that we did that. We are so much better and so much more prepared today than we were 43 days ago.
Guys, also Michigan State University President Dr. Samuel L. Stanley Jr. released a statement early this afternoon on that news, saying in part today, with all that we've learned in the past month about rapid response testing and from other athletic leagues, both professional and collegiate, I feel more confident that we can collectively play football while still keeping our student athletes, coaches, and staff safe. MSU will adhere to the regulations put forth by the Big Ten Conference to move forward in a safe and thoughtful manner. We have the full statement on our web story. Meanwhile, the games, as you mentioned, scheduled to start just over 5 weeks, the Friday and Saturday weekend of October 23rd and 24th. Of course, our sports crew will have much more on all this coming up throughout the day. But for now, live in Jenison, Derek Francis, Fox 17 News.
All right, Derek, thank you. And the president tweeted after the Big Ten made that announcement this morning. His tweet thanking everyone involved and wishing them all a fantastic season. The president also said it was his great honor to have helped the process. You may remember he recently met with Big Ten Commissioner Kevin Warren.